Thank you so much. That was really, really amazing. Thank you all for being here. My name is Ellie Weisenberg-Kelly. I'm the manager of public programs and residencies here at the Pocantico Center, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's work in process showing with Cheuk and Selma Savolainen. We're going to get into a discussion of the work in process piece that we just experienced, but first I'll offer some introductions. The Pocantico Center rests in Lenape-Hoking, unceded land of the native Lenape people. We honor the Lenape, past, present, and future, in gratitude and appreciation for their stewardship of this land for generations. Wing and Selma are our artists in residence at the Pocantico Center this week as part of the Fall 2022 Collaborative Creative Residency Program between the Pocantico Center and the Culpeper Arts and Culture program of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Asian Cultural Council, and Composers Now. During the first half of November, in 2 consecutive weeks, composers chosen through a jury process administered by Composers Now are paired with fellows from the Asian Cultural Council. We hosted 2 artists last week, with Wing and Selma's residency concluding the 2-week program. During each 7-day residency, the 2 artists meet, they reside on the campus of the Pocantico Center, and explore their combined forms and aesthetic approaches to conceive a joint project. Each pair enjoys the natural environment, historic buildings, and art collection at Pocantico during their stay, and have access to this performance space for rehearsal and collaboration. Each pair share meals and conversation and communal living in a guest house on site as they explore new artistic pathways. Each pair will offer, like tonight, a work in process showing, and a videographer will produce a short documentary on the artist's journey together. The documentaries will be featured in the opening event of the Composers Now 2023 Festival in late January. And now I'm pleased to introduce our artists in residence this week, Cheuk and Selma Savolainen. Cheuk Nam, aka Chang Mei Wing Joy, you have to tell us more about that later, is an interdisciplinary artist based in Hong Kong who mixes sound and modern computer technology. Cheuk has performed at Sonic Environment 2016, Zurich University of the Arts, XXX Gallery, 22 Degrees North, Connecting Spaces, Floating Projects, and Hong Kong Baptist University. She participated in Contemporary Musicking, Hong Kong's 2016 Sonic Transmission Artist Exchange Project. Her works have been exhibited in Art Central, Art Jakarta, and the 2021-22 Asia Society Triennial. Selma Savolainen is a vocalist and composer from Helsinki, a graduate of Betty Carter's Jazz Ahead and the Banff International Workshop for Jazz and Creative Music. She won the Pori Jazz Festival's 2022 Rising Talent Prize. Her latest work includes artistic production for folk duo Akaji, choir arrangements for indie group Karina, and big band compositions for UMO Helsinki Jazz Orchestra. Savolainen is working on a solo piece, The Imaginary Ladies, which explores female characters in literature. Welcome to you both. Yes, yay! So I'd love to just kick it off by asking you both to talk a little about the evolution and the process of what we just experienced. I say experienced because I feel like it just incorporated, like all of our senses were involved, and it was really remarkable. And just how all those various elements, and there's so many elements of this piece, came together, and how you even began to have a jumping off point for it.
I think the first jumping point for us were the leaves that are here present on the ground. We were both curious to find out the different sounds that the dried fallen leaves make during this time of the year, and that was basically the first word we said when we sat down on a dinner table on Monday night, like, did you notice the leaves? And so we hit from there. I think that was pretty immediate.
Yeah, we coming up with something really fast. Where in the morning dinner we will talk about the leaves, and then the next morning we went to the Japanese garden, and there's a lot of red leaves with a lot of different seed on the floor, and then when we step on it, the sun is is quite different actually. So that is quite a surprise for me, because in Hong Kong we don't have this. In Hong Kong, if there something falling leaves on the floor, some citizen will complain immediately. So no, we cannot step on the falling leaves somehow. Yeah. So this is very good experience walking around the Japanese garden, and very great inspiration for us too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was there a specific significance of the elements that you selected, the leaves specifically, or the color, the reds, or the bamboo as well? And the seed pods, I thought that was a really interesting element as well.
Yeah, because in Hong Kong we seldom see the red leaves, and this is out of my expectation. It's so red, so I want to bring it, and then we find that the fallen leaves, there is a lot of different degrees of red, so we want to put it together in our piece. Yeah, and also Selma also find there a lot of pine cone, and she did some sound recording about crashing the pine cone, and then when I listening, and I went, okay, we can put it all together into the piece, and then so we start to conversation.
Something I've noticed after having this being the second week of our Asian Cultural Council and Composers Now residency duos, a couple of themes that have emerged over both residencies. One was the use of unexpected elements as instruments. For example, last week our resident played a sculpture that we have here with a violin bow to create sounds. It was really dynamic. Just as these elements, using the bamboo, using the leaves, crunching the leaves, really unexpected, and encourages us who are on the estate and know the Pocantico Center to think about what we see here in different ways. And then also this idea of found soundscapes. So last week, the residents used inspiration from some sonic elements that they experienced at Pocantico. For example, they recorded the sound of water in the Oceanus fountain. And I know that you also did the same with other elements, the geese, for example, and the leaf blowers. So I'm wondering if you could talk about some of those natural and electronic elements you used as instruments today, and all of the various soundscapes that we heard, and how they all came together and inspired the piece.
Yeah, I feel like when I took my first walk alone on Monday night, I really wanted to take my recorder device, meaning my iPhone, with me and record different sounds that I heard, that I found interesting, just for the sake of it, just to get some kind of trace of my visit here. As we mentioned the leaves, suddenly we noticed that these certain sounds we found very interesting, and we wanted to somehow have it in the piece that we were doing now. And I brought a little sampler with me, and decided to put some of those sounds that I recorded to my sampler's memory, and then find some kind of combination of electronic and acoustic sound, which is kind of happening here at Pocantico as well, since there's a lot of people during this time of year working on blowing the leaves, for example. So there's a lot of wind blowers. You can hear that sound. That's the soundscape here during the day. So that is sort of like that we wanted to explore how we can combine that natural element with electronic devices.
Yeah, for me is a leaf blower. I just have seen in New York only. I never seen in Hong Kong because we always sweep it and I do a little bit specialization during the show, and because I think that it is a question, or it is the topic, how the humans to control the environment. So I want to think about, I want to represent the people who do the leaf blowing from different angles on the leaves. So that's why we have the second scene, which is there is specialization on the leaf blower, and while Selma is going to gather leaves again.
Interesting. And is that, the combination of using technology and natural elements, is that something that is new to each of you, or is it something you incorporate into your own practices? Sorry? Have you done this kind of thing before where you will combine the technology with natural elements, or is this a new experience for you?
This is really new to have a movement in the show, actually. So I'm not a dancer. I'm not the actor. I'm just do the music. In Hong Kong, we always do with the Eurorack something DIY electronics. So this is a very first time to do the movement to make the sound for me. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about it, that doing this kind of performance is new to both of us, which is really exciting that this place and this situation offers us both to explore something new. And
also new in singing under the,
under
the audiences, right?
Never sung under the audience before. But I think the idea of having because we both are performers, me as a vocalist and Wing as a performance artist, I felt like that was really like also the starting point, that we want to do something on stage. But the way we did it was really surprising for both of us.
Yeah, finally the outcome is very surprising.
Yeah.
Actually.
We were so intrigued when we heard you were going to be singing under the seating. Like, it's amazing when artists come and make this space their own, and we get to see it in a whole new way. So that was really exciting.
Yeah, Selma first time to look around the venue, and then she already think about sing under the audience seat, and then we have a common consensus with that. We will have the leaf on the stage at that time. So and then I have a trigger to say maybe I use the torch to finding you. In the second night during we have the dinner. Yeah.
We just touched on this a little, but Wing in particular, you refer to yourself as an interdisciplinary artist. So I wonder if you can explain to us a little bit more about what that means and all the different artistic areas that you work in, and then also Selma, you work in very different mediums as well. So how these personal styles may have played into this collaboration, which ones that really came out and which ones maybe didn't work.
This is very hard to explain actually. But when we have some art project, I'm not only the one who work the whole pieces. Maybe I am the one to do some coordinate, or more than coordinate with a lot of different artists. And I try to think how to say. For example, I have the idea. Okay, I want to do the arts project, and then sometimes I'm not the perfect person, right? Sometimes I have some knowledge, I don't know how to do it. So maybe I will find someone to help, and then to work together. So not only one. For example, I don't know how to use the roof crafting, for example. So I maybe find the sculptors or the sculpture artists to help for doing this part. And then I will add some programming, electronics elements on the wood products, the craftsman, and then maybe we can work together to have a chemical reaction to have some surprisingly outcome. Yeah. So this is this is only one example. Sometimes we will involve more than one area, or sometimes it's involve, for example, drama. We need to do something with the director, or to do something with the DJ, for example. So that's why people ask me what I'm doing. I always say I can do a lot of things. Yeah, because I don't have any fixed presenting method. So yeah.
Yeah, that's something I really appreciate about Wing, that her openness to explore and do everything, which is I think that's something that is kind of rare in music, where people really focus on their instruments, for example, or their craft in a very like particular way. And I feel that this openness in the creative spirit is something that I really want to cherish in myself as well, and also to work with other fields of arts in the future, to feel that same energy, that openness. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it.
It sounds like you naturally gelled very well together. Which is, I think, for everyone here who may not know, they met each other on Monday when they arrived here for their residency, and they never, I don't even think, had texted or had any kind of communication. So,
Sorry, I didn't reply her email.
what's that?
I sent her an email.
Oh,
but
one
she
email,
didn't
one
reply.
email.
So sorry.
Nonetheless, I think it just speaks to how well the collaboration came together and how quickly, even with one email, over just a few days. And that being said, they both have been living together in this guest house. I'm wondering if you want to talk a little about how the experience has been living together under one roof, and how it helped shape the creative process, what the experience was like, sharing a kitchen and cooking together, and how your relationship formed over the week, and how that inspired the work we saw tonight.
I think we had the best conversations over a meal, like sitting at a dinner table and
Because
talking.
our meal time is quite different.
It's delayed. Like,
and she always cook earlier, and I always cook very late. So during her having her meal, I have time to have notice to write something. And at the same time, when I have meal and she's finished her meal, and then she can write again. So this is the conversation start.
Yeah, and also we have a different she'll wake up really late, and I wake up really early, so I will have my alone time in the morning and walking around.
She's a very disciplined person.
And then with Wing, we'll meet my lunch, her breakfast, and start talking about things. So that's been really nice.
Yeah. And there may have been some language barriers between the two of you. And were there challenges in communicating in that way? And how did the creative process and your vision for the piece be affected? Was it affected at all by a lack of a common language?
Because English is not our mother language actually. So, just it forced us to. We must use English to communicate with each other. So we will try our best. Sometimes we will use the body language or something. Just do it and then to see how it's going. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely has brought us to the middle when using our mother tongues. So that's nice.
One more question before we open it up to the audience for any questions you may have. Do you envision any next steps for this collaboration, or for the piece that we saw, or maybe future work together while you spent your week here at Pocantico?
I think I will definitely continue with working on a solo instrument as we had in the beginning, like having for example voice alone with maybe some different textural sounds. I feel like I've created an interest for that during this week.
If possible, sure. We hope we can do it again with our own instrument. With our own instrument, her voice and our DIY electronics things. It is very good. I always think that it's a very good start to have an artist collaboration. Start from the assemblage, which is do something existing element to put it all together, and then just play around to see how is it. So this is very good starting. But not the end.
I'm glad to hear that, and it was a very, very good start. So thank you both so much. I'd love to open up to any questions from the audience anyone might have. I'll repeat the questions out too. Anyone has any? Yes.
Yeah, I understand the different sounds that you created. I found them very interesting. But you did more than just create sound. You have motion, emotion with each sound. How did you tie, and what did that mean to you? The tree, for example, and how you shook it, or how you used the bamboo in relationship to the leaves. Did it have some kind of a context to you, a story to you? What was it you were trying to say by melding these different sounds together?
So the question is how emotion comes into play with the sounds that were created.
Sorry, it's just. I think because this time is very short. I think just two days or 1 day. We have just prepared the show, and I don't know why just trigger me sometimes, and we just try it, and then you see what is going on. If you say the emotion, I can say I have a curious how it's going to be. I'm not really say I'm happy or I'm sad, but I always keep my curious how it's going to work. Yeah, but because just 2 days, we cannot just build up the emotion with the bamboo or something because yeah. So that's why this is very hard to answer, but I try to do it.
No, there was a lot of intensity, I think, when you were shaking the bamboo and the sampler was on top of that sound. I felt that.
Yeah, we had a very good conversation about. I asked Wing if she often thinks about like narrative storyline when she works. Like, does she see like beginning and end and some kind of story that happens in between? And you were saying like, no, not really.
Not really, actually.
And that's really interesting because I as a vocalist, the form of song is very interesting to me. And there, typically in songs, you have a storyline and you have words. So I feel like there is something songful about this, what we did, without any words or without a melody. And I'm pretty happy about that experience.
Yeah, because it is already very hard for us to just stay, to have 2 days together, to meet each other, to know each other first. So we try to make sure the collaborator is good for the show, right? And then and then is how to use the material to do the collaboration. I think the collaboration is how is the final outcome is the most important first. So yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Oh, I think so.
I believe there are a lot of ideas not included in this very short but beautiful performance. Can you share some, like 1 or 2 ideas that you're actually interested in exploring, but actually not what we are saying here? Yeah.
Question is if there's more ideas that these artists are interested in exploring.
Well, as I mentioned, I've been collecting a sound library from the sounds that I've heard here. So that's something that you didn't hear it all there. And also for this performance, I think we had a lot of different ideas that we could have been doing, which we didn't do. Using the space in a different way, and also the environment. So yeah, it's always like pick and choose what
sure.
you'll do.
We actually record a lot of sound, and the final outcome we didn't show it properly. Yeah, and how to actually, if you say the keywords of exploration, maybe I will think about how the people to control the environment in this area, and then because I'm keep looking people to do the leaf blowing, and sometimes it's going to swabbing. Is it using the rag? Yeah, and they do a lot of things for the leaves and for how to protect the environment. Also the bamboo garden as well. Sometimes they will cut the leaves because they said because the bamboo they will live so close to each other, so sometimes they will cut it. And yeah, so this is more. We want to show it more actually, but we need to compromise and which one we need to show it, which one we not to show it. So this is, yeah, I think this is the best already. Yeah, currently this time at this moment.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I want to thank Wing and Selma again for this amazing presentation and for sharing this week with us at Pocantico, and thank our partners at the Asian Cultural Council and Composers Now for helping to make this possible. And I hope you'll stay tuned to the Composers Now Festival in January to watch a documentary about our residents from last week and Selma and Wings, so you can learn more about their experiences here this week. Thank you both so much, and thank you all for coming. Please join us out in the gathering space for a reception, and you can enjoy the gallery out there as well, and you can speak more with our amazing artists too. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.